I am recording this session, so just be aware of that. Peter, now over to you.
Hello, Nadia, and hello, everybody. And I've got a surprise for you, including Nadia. Watching your face on the introduction during my surprise here. So I've got a very special surprise, and I couldn't resist bringing my surprise along here. Next to me is Anne-Marie Blamoureux from Quebec.
Hi.
Who is visiting. And I thought we will add something on to this Ask Me Anything, because Anne-Marie is the expert naturopath in Canada. And, you know, any questions you may have that I can't answer about health, supplements, any health questions you may have, they should be addressed to Anne-Marie. And I thought I'd just bring her in. I sort of forced her to come in and told her when she wants to leave, she can go and have a drink somewhere. But maybe there are some questions, really some useful questions.
I will try to answer.
Yeah, which she will answer, I'm sure, brilliantly.
Yes.
And so that you know, her company is called Le Cerveau au Service de l'Amour, which translates, we have some French speakers here, but it translates into the brain at the service of the heart, which I think is has a beautiful name. So, looking forward, Nadia and everybody,
Wonderful.
to this evening.
Thank you so much, and hello, Anne-Marie. It's wonderful.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meeting you all.
Great. Okay, so just a mini introduction for those of you who are new in this space. So my name is Nadia, in short. I'm the founder of ConsciousU, and we do a number of different online coaching programs. And one program that I wrote a while ago together with Peter is called CU Money. So it takes this money work into a broader exploration. And currently with Tom Nixon, I'm also writing CU Source about Peter's source work. And I'm delighted that you're all here. Today is literally the Ask Me Anything session, which means I don't have an agenda. Peter doesn't have an agenda. What will happen emerges in this room. And what we traditionally do at the very beginning is just to give you a moment to connect with one other person in the room, because we find, you know, just to have had your voice in the room, even if you will not say anything else later, is just a wonderful way to arrive. We don't do this very long, so you don't have to be scared about, you know, feeling like, oh my God, there are too many people. It doesn't really matter. It's just one or two people that you're connecting to, and that's really it. So I would suggest we take 10 minutes for that, so you don't have a long conversation, but you just introduce each other to one another and talk about what is alive in you, because there's a reason why you showed up to this Ask Me Anything today. So it will be wonderful to have this quick check-in with the other person in your room. And let me just quickly have a look here about our rooms. Sorry, just organizing people. Yeah, and after 10 minutes, we're back and diving right in. So see you on the other side. Bye.
And we'll stay with Nadia.
Yeah.
Yes, you will stay with me. Right.
I agree with you. It's confusing with this new Zoom setup.
Yeah, I know. I'm constantly looking for the right button. So it's a little, and plus, honestly, age.
So do I.
I'm getting blind. So without my glasses, it's getting a little hopeless here.
Yeah, they're new, aren't they, the glasses?
Yeah. Yeah, and the only thing I don't like, look here, the ring light in the glasses is irritating. Anyway, beautiful people, you're all back. So we're opening the floor. What is cooking inside of you when you think about money, when you think about source, when you think about projections? And actually, maybe a good place to start is sort of how do you experience the world right now? And what does that have to do with any of the topics we are dealing with? who has a thought, an impulse they want to share.
And anything to do with your health, we really do have an expert sitting next to me,
Peter,
I
don't get us
promise you.
sidetracked. Actually, Juana, you have your hand up. Just unmute yourself.
First of all, I want to thank you very, very much, Nadia and Peter, because for the last session. And because, first of all, I practice my English, and it was the first time that I'm going more to an uncomfort zone. And but what is the most important thing and essential things I want to share and to thank you, and very feeling grateful to both of you, is your feedback about what I shared about the selling of the house which we inherited. And what helps me a lot, it is after the session, it was like a popcorn, unconscious, in an unconscious level, which helps a lot to understand what was running inside me. And as you said, Peter, is free your relation to money and free your life. And I'm touching really this meaning inside me. And it's helping me to free my beliefs, to understand and not to stay stuck in projections and judging the others. So thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you, Mona. That's great. I'm so glad. And did you sell a house now? I mean, is it complete?
Not yet. Not yet.
But you're in a good process.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Angela, you have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, good to see you again. I have a question that is in my mind a lot in the past months around our society and how we deal with money and how we bring our work into the world in a way that it's not only for privileged people, but that we basically also take responsibility for making a change in how things, and especially money, is distributed. And I would just be curious in your thoughts around that. Like, I can see, for example, that with generations who come after me, very often they come from a different position where they have not followed a classical career and first of all earned a lot of money, but they actually started to listen to their real calling much earlier, which also means they don't have a lot of money and resources available, but they're very true and authentic to themselves. And so when they are in the marketplace and they, for example, want to do a coaching education or certain workshops, they don't have the money to pay the prices that, for example, for me in my generation and for people that are older than me were quite normal. And I'm questioning myself a lot of my own responsibility in that also when I offer things right now and I try out different versions of basically price ranges from to make it more affordable for other people. But I sometimes feel it's all not really yet at a point where it's really dealing with the source of things. It's still finding some bypasses to work with how society is right now. And for me, it's something that, now I see myself very big, that I would be curious to just hear any thoughts, or maybe even if you have any more insight into how you're dealing yourself with that.
Peter, any thoughts?
Shall I go, Nadia?
Yes, please.
So I think you're speaking to something, Angela, which is very true at the moment, in terms of the changes happening in society. So I think if I look at my generation and maybe the generation after me, we are in a sense, more privileged than we're actually at the moment intending to inherit from people who are dying right now, whereas the next generations are in a completely different position to us. And I think this is really what you're referring to, and there is not an easy recipe or answer to your question. But what I would say is, and I think I've said this before, is that where people follow their source and their passion and have discovered it, and this applies, of course, to young people, this is the relationship to sustainability, because that's what will sustain them. And they will draw the necessary resources, including money, but not just money, to be able to continue that. And I think that's the key message for people in that generation too, because the education will be to find the money, and to find the money, you know, to focus on the money, and that's where they will get lost. So it's to focus on, you know, it's a bit of a paradox of contradiction. It's to focus on and not be compromised on what you want to do in terms of what you love, but also allow the money to come, or go and find the money that you need for that, however it is for your training, Angela, or whatever, and it'll be found. The danger from our point of view is to compromise. In other words, to be empathetic and sympathetic too quickly, and say, oh, this is a person from another generation, they don't have the money, therefore we or I, because we're in a privileged position, we should definitely always support such a person. And I stress the word always, because it may be appropriate in some circumstances, and it may be absolutely inappropriate in other circumstances, where you need to tell that person, go out and find, you know, just go and find the money yourself, and then come on my course. So that's my take, if you like, on this whole subject. And as I say, there's no underlying recipe for it. It does need for you and I, who are in this position, and I agree with you about our privilege, to be sensitive to what's being asked of us, and what we ask of ourselves in that situation. So that's my response.
Yeah. Can I ask a follow-up question on that?
Yeah, please.
Like, I would really love to drill down where you say, yes, we have a privilege, and we need to be careful to not be too empathetic and support too quickly. Like, how do you look at the world right there in this spot?
I look at it in terms of the personal relationship with the person who is asking. And I allow myself to feel into that relationship, whether I'm doing this correctly or incorrectly, but to follow what I sense there. So I'm sometimes, you know, I sometimes say yes very quickly, and other times I find myself being extraordinarily ruthless with the person and saying, no, you know, go and find it yourself. It's not my job to find you what you need here. So, and you know, accepting that I may be making bad decisions there in either direction, but my experience is that the more I give myself the freedom of that choice, the more accurate over time I become with my decision. So it's like not falling automatically into a particular pattern with it. Does that respond?
Yeah, it speaks a lot to me, because I feel when you say that, you're being very precise at this point with people and what you sense there. And I have another teacher who would say precision is love. So yeah.
And
it doesn't only apply. It doesn't only apply to young people, of course. This applies to, you know, I have somebody of a much older generation in a particular situation where I've already offered something, and this person is saying, well, I'm waiting for the rest, you know, and it's like, okay, well, you can wait for the rest, but are you going to go out and find the rest yourself, or are you expecting me or somebody else to just come up with it? You know, so it applies to other generations, I think, too, just across the board. Thank you for bringing this up.
Angela, I had another thought there, because in a way I would also challenge the truth of that assumption, right? Because I think back at my own path, and there were definitely years in my professional development where I did not have the money.
Yeah.
Right. And I became very resourceful in making myself or getting myself into positions where I could learn with and from the people that I wanted to learn with. And in some ways, I would say today that's even easier than it has ever been, because every teacher you want to find, they have something out there that is for free, right? Their podcasts, their webinars, there's all that kind of stuff. So you can educate yourself to some degree even there. And then the other part of it is that I also think every generation has their own teachers, right? So I also think there is something about a next generation of teachers who are on our footsteps, that are teaching the people that come after them at a different price point. So that's also part of this big, messy equation that in the end boils down to the relationship.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, thank you to both of you for sharing your own thoughts, and I can totally resonate with them. And yet I feel that there is still something in me where I also feel a calling in somehow looking at a broader picture of society, and also of how to I don't want to say like, we need to pay now for the younger generations, or like it's not so black and white, but I feel it's quite a complex topic where there are things in it where we haven't found answers yet, in a way. And I'm just trying to drill into that and find at least glimpses of what we can try in a new way with one another. Yeah.
Well, if you, Angela, if you do find an answer, I'm very interested. I can assure you.
You said that to me before, Peter. I do remember that on another topic.
Yeah.
Well, and Angela, part of the answers are already in this space, right? Because I know that you have been doing that. We're doing it with CU Money in the programs that we offer through ConsciousUSU, where we have a price range where people can already pick between the regular price and a reduced price, and pick for themselves how much they want to pay. And we even say, if you cannot pay the lowest end, send us a message, make us an offer, right? So to create some proactivity in the space. But what my attention is being drawn to right now, Angela, is possibly also what is a thought or a worry or a concern in you. Who are you being when you don't create a solution for that?
Not the person who's changing the world like I sometimes would want to do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So welcome to the club of non-world changers.
Yeah, thank you. I will. Yeah, there is definitely also something in me where I'm trying to just be with what is right now, and not also wanting too much for myself. It's more of a walking question for me. I feel I'm walking with this question already for a few years, and I'm just openly looking at the world, what new things emerge. And I feel that this is a field where you're really at the edge of dealing with money more consciously. So I'm pretty interested in what new aspects emerge here.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's as you know, I'm pregnant with this question too, and thank you for putting it in the space. Okay, so who else is out there who has a question or an issue that you'd like to put in here? Something actually came to me in sort of our reflection moment. Peter, I was wondering if you could talk a bit to your perception of, I don't even know if I can call them sources in the world, because I'm not sure what they are sourcing exactly, but let's say political leaders. And I'm thinking of people like Macron in France or Biden in the US who are unwilling to leave. And I'm wondering, is this persistence of this is the right spot for me, is that healthy behavior of a leader maybe a source of whatever they're sourcing? Or how do you look at this right now?
I haven't been reflecting on that particular position that they are taking. But what I'm seeing generally is that the people we're considering as governmental leaders of nations are going through a very hard time. And of course, I don't think any of us would do any better. So I have a certain degree of sympathy for all of them. I think that Rishi Sunak is very happy not to be there anymore. So
I would imagine so.
yeah. So I think, we have both ends of the extreme, some who are holding on tight and others who are delighted to be gone, I imagine. And the question is, if you look, who wants to be? I mean, it doesn't look as if there's anybody of, well, let me put it really nastily, of reasonable intelligence who wants to be president of the United States at the moment. Maybe Kennedy would be that, but this is really indicative, I think, of a world situation that we have right now, of things falling apart. And so I don't see it quite so personally, because I think the challenge of anybody taking that position right now in any country is really fraught with difficulties from the moment they step into the situation. But of course, it does reflect how they come to be in that situation to start off with, and the paradigm in which they have become the winner to rise up, if you can call it that, to the particular position that they are, which is basically an adversarial, hostile position. And that's what we're seeing in terms of the games being played in government now, which has been played for so many centuries, of being adversarial and competitive, but not in a way which is constructive. So, if I take my own country, the United Kingdom, and what happens in Parliament, we have parliamentary debates. Now, if you go to Oxford, you will find some very constructive debates there. And this is the origin of the idea of having a debate which will lead to good decisions, or the best decision. But if you then watch what happens in the UK Parliament, in the Houses of Parliament, you see the most destructive form of this kind of adversariality. And I think this is the real issues that we are really facing right now. And indeed, if I can mention it, that we're trying to look at in what I'm calling the Summit of Summits, in terms of, let's call it positive, if it's possible, hostility, and negative hostility. Because what we're seeing in the world right now is basically an addiction to negative hostility. And this is where these government leaders at the moment are champions, and are taking their own punishment, if you like, as a result.
Thank you. I will call on a few other people.
A couple of hands.
Yeah, exactly. So Jennifer, Jennifer, yes. Hello.
Thank you. I have a question concerning also the work I do. I'm a financial advisor, and I did the coaching Ausbildung. I did it with Monika Müller, which you also know very well. And I kind of have a paradox when doing my work on the one hand, financial advisory, talking to people who inherit money, who have large amounts of money, but on the other hand, also talking to customers who don't inherit, who are going to have problems with the crumbling government pension system, and also with the economic situation that they might only be getting jobs where they're not paid as well, or with single mothers, for example, who also don't have jobs which are paid well. And once in a while, I have a feeling that trying to explain to them how inner money work can help them out of their situation on the one hand, and on the other hand, you have all of the newspapers and all of the social media full of comments that either you're born rich, or you have a rich family, or you have a great job, or you're on the other side and you're never going to kind of make it. Those are the things that I sometimes have a hard time with coping and trying. Well, it is a part of me, of course, because on the one hand, I'm trying to help them, but I always see this like as a big wall, which I'm trying to overcome on an emotional state, because I notice how the economic situation is changing, and it isn't that easy for me to explain to others how to cope with this situation. I hope I kind of made that a question for you. I'm not sure.
Well, do you have a concrete question around that, Jennifer? Because I think we need to have a concrete question. What's going on with you with that, for example?
Well, I also have the topic sustainability in my work. So sustainability in finances, where I noticed that the new generation is also thinking about not having a big amount of money, and maybe like the big transition that our resources that we have aren't able to take large amounts of new wealth. So so the question is, how do I get all of that in one pot, kind of thing? How am I, because there's so many different topics and so many different themes, where I always have a feeling, how can I sew them together?
So my answer is very quick answer, but without too much thinking. I don't think you can sew them together.
Great. So
I think the only
take them as they are.
Yeah, I think the only thing you can do is help the person. And if you can help the person, that's all you need to do, because that's why they've come to you.
Stop seeing the gigantic picture and trying to fix everything, and just do the work on the spot.
I think so, because you're probably not helping yourself or them in trying to piece everything or put it all together. There may be, I mean, there may be people who have put things together and can help in this. If you want to look at the work of somebody like, I would say, Daniel Schmachtenberger. I don't know if that name is familiar to you.
Okay.
Or Yanis Varoufakis. They do pretty good job at putting the sort of things that you're looking at together.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really are interested in that, then get into that. Now, whether that will help you with the particular people that are coming to you with your questions is another question. But if you're really interested in sort of looking at the meta picture and maybe deriving something out of that, then those are people that I would certainly recommend. Maybe Nadia has something to add. She usually does.
Well,
yeah, go for
it. Actually, I thought your answer was right on the money, Peter, that at the end of the day, it all comes back to the individual relationship, right? And I think with the profound knowledge that you seem to have, Jennifer, in all of these different areas, right? Serving people who don't know what to do with all the money they have in serving people who are really threatened by crumbling structures and insecurity, to use this compassion that you seem to have for them and connect from that place and see what answer arises when you really are present with that person in front of you. And my sense is you're already doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's very helpful.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's see. We have Gia. Hang on, I will put you. Wait, where are you? Wait, Gia.
Yes, yes. I just remove
The hand.
element.
Yeah, then I
Yeah,
can
you
find
can
you
see me.
anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hi,
Nice to meet
Gia.
you again.
Great
Hi,
to see
Peter.
you. Yeah.
Me too. And also thanks, Nadia, to organize this one. I have one question about the source work. And I created one project. I know very clearly I was the source of this project, and I ran several years. And I had one partner, co-animator, together with me for some years, and she arrived after me. So that was very clear for this one. Last year, the relationship between me and her became more and more difficult. And at a certain moment, I didn't want to transfer my source to her. I wish the project could continue. So my decision was to drop the stick of the source on the ground. And some months later, she picked the source up. I need to say she took a risk. She took a risk to continue the project. So now, from my point of view, she holds the field, and I still stay in this field. I feel that I have one specific role to make the connection between what I passed from France and now the field is in China. The question, this part was clear to me. I saw also it works. The question for me, I want to ask it is, I still feel sometimes the tension between me and her. So I feel that I don't want to pass the source to her, the source that what I hold. I think I hold some energy, I hold some inspiration. I don't want to pass to her. I challenge myself to say, I question myself to say, if I am really, is it my ego who is holding this part, or is it really I have the right inspiration that she's not the right person? I need to pass maybe in another day to someone else. Just now when Nadia talked about some leader doesn't want to leave, I feel it resonant to me. I don't want to leave, but I don't want to hold the field neither. I'm happy to have my role now, specific source. Sometimes from time to time, I judge myself why I hold this one. I don't want to give to her. Yeah. So I want to see what you think about from the source point of view. Yeah.
So for me, in your story, we need to clarify a couple of things. So the first thing we need to clarify is, you said you dropped your role. What did you drop?
Dropped. I was ready to let this project die because I don't want to fight with her.
Oh, is that the reason you dropped it?
I was too much tired. And also, I was tired of the relationship that I had with her.
So, so did you really drop it?
I think I dropped the leadership of the project.
Yes, but did you drop yourself being source?
That's my confusion. I don't know. I think I dropped the leadership. If someone want to manage, want to lead this field, I'm okay.
Yeah, but around the vision.
I have the impression that her vision and my vision are a little different. And
yeah. So did you drop your vision?
No, I still believe that. Meanwhile, my vision maybe cannot correspond to something very pragmatical in this field because I'm very far.
Yeah. So, you know, we're doing this very quickly. But actually, it doesn't feel to me, I'm not sure about this. Let me just say to start off with, I'm not sure because we're doing this very quickly. But it feels to me that you didn't drop the source, that you are still the source of the whole project. She was your subsource in terms of leadership of the operations and the practical things. But actually what you did was you, in a sense, compromised your own source by saying to yourself that you've dropped the source. And that's the basic problem. So you have to see there's a part of you which was weak at that moment because of the amount of resistance that she was giving you. And you allowed yourself to be compromised at that point, maybe. And that's what's showing itself right now in terms of the dilemma that you're presenting. So in other words, what you need to do is to reclaim your source of the whole project and not just part of the project. Now, the alternative would be that you dropped it, she picked it up and started again, and you took on a new role as her subsource. But then you'd have no say in what's happening with the global project. And I think what you're saying is that you have a problem with what's going on with the global project. And my response is that you would only have a problem with the global project if you didn't drop it. If you didn't drop it. If you dropped it, you'd have no problem. You'd just do your role as subsource and there'd be no problem, and she can do what she wants as source because she is the source. But you seem to be expressing a problem with what she's doing. Yeah. So my guess is that you are still the source, and you need to reclaim that aspect of yourself to be able to move forward. Nadia?
Hang on, give me a second to put myself back in the idea. You know, I'm wondering if you can do a quick self-test, Gia, and notice what happens in your body when you say, I am the source.
I am the source.
Okay, just notice what you notice.
I feel it's true.
You can try the opposite and say, I'm not the source, and notice what you notice.
I'm not the source. I think I have one dot. Yeah. So, meanwhile, how I can reclaim it? I thought I already give. And now I need to ask, hey, give me back. What I should say?
You don't ask, you take it back because it's yours. She can't give it back to you. It's never been hers. This is the weak point.
Wow. Okay.
Gia, how clear are you on your vision for this right now? What needs to happen next?
Give me some time to reflect on it. Yeah. I think I was a little shocked by this, the intuition of Peter just shared. I thought I already give out this responsibility of the source. If it's not yet, I need to reflect on it. Okay, thank you for the surprise.
Oh, Gia, so now you have a whole new problem, right?
I came with one.
With
two.
You know, it's always a success when the problem we give you is bigger than the one you come with.
Yeah,
That's what we do. That's what we do with this work.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure I will show up next time.
You come with small problems and you leave with large ones, and that's
yeah.
worthwhile ones, you know.
It is worse. Yeah, I confirm. It is really worse. Yeah.
And the best part, it's free, Gia.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I will reflect on it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gia. Okay, let me take you off the hot seat. Yeah, you know, I can really resonate with this feeling of, oh my God, like what do I do now? And I remember a good friend of ours, Peter, who's been going pregnant with the same question as to the climate change movement that he was leading and where he felt he was driven out of the movement, and your assertion that nobody can drive him out of the movement. So I'm wondering, what would be your general advice to somebody who feels, also due to their own making, they've been sort of pushed aside? What happens next?
Well, this is where the reclamation work comes in, of course, because we're looking at why, you know, obviously she is a very strong fighter in this case, and you were willing to submit to her fight. So we have to look at what part of you allowed yourself to do that and to reclaim it. I mean, maybe you weren't nasty enough with her, for example, or brutal enough with her. Maybe you had some ideas around doing this in a sort of peaceful, nice, sort of genial, cordial way. But what she really needed was something brutal, just as an example. So, you know, you say to yourself, I'm a brutal Frau, a brutal woman, a vile, brutal, violent woman, and this is wonderful. And you allow yourself to express that, and you'll see if it's really true, that'll be a great contribution to her, because, you know, it sounds like she's pretty brutal and violent anyway. So she needs somebody more brutal and violent than her to learn how to be the opposite.
Yeah, I'm just going to get you back here for a moment just to hear how that resonates.
Okay. So I need to say this one. Yeah, that is what you proposed. The brutal, violent.
Just an experiment.
Well, Gia, I have a slightly more modern spin on it, because I often find in my work with women, that's where the direction is something along the lines of being a power-hungry bitch, right?
Oh, yeah.
So to own the brutality, because as women, it's often tainted in a way of, oh, you know, she's power-hungry, which is great for men, but for women, it's not a good look, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to fully own that and see what happens in your system when you go to that place.
It's really, I feel I reject these words. I feel I rejected the words that I'm power hungry. I said, wow, this not me. Yeah.
But the bitch as well. Don't forget the bitch.
So, I will shout. No, not me. Also brutal, and also the violent. No, not me. It's something that I reject. Yeah.
Okay, so you have a wonderful rest of the week ahead of you, Gia.
Yeah, I see that it is a shadow that, yeah, what you said, it's, I think it's right. It's really something I reject. I don't want to have this, the power game. I don't want to have the brutal, and also the, yeah, to ask for the recognition, like something that, no, it's not me. Yeah.
So allow yourself to be surprised what happens when you drop into that space, Gia, because maybe there's a lot of power buried there. And just to make it a little lighter, when I was referencing this friend that Peter and I have, who also felt he was driven out by somebody else, and he ended up reclaiming his chauvinistic pig. And he literally pictured himself at a desk with, you know, all these posters of naked women behind him, you know, like in a car shop. You know, and then men spreading and sitting on this ugly chair and sort of being the most chauvinistic pig that you could imagine. So there, you know, there's something there that I think is useful for you as well, and the female version of that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Gia.
Looking at
Thank
the
you,
time,
Peter.
sweet people, I will unpin all of us right now. And maybe we just have a couple of people, a couple voices from the room that I will call on. Sort of, what are you walking away with today? Constanze, what are you walking away with today?
I'm a power hungry bitch.
I love it.
Yeah, there's a resistance in my system, so I guess there's a growth potential there, right? So
Amazing. We need more power hungry bitches, trust me.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Clarissa, you also had a reaction to that, I saw.
Yeah, same. I'm also gonna walk away as a power hungry bitch. Yeah, it really resonates, and it's still, I realize, I mean, it's been eons to, to reclaim being a evil woman, and every time I hit these moments, I'm still like, so I'm just gonna take that power hungry bitch sounds wonderful for today.
Amazing, thank you. And then let's maybe hear from one of the beautiful men here. Who do we have? Wolfgang, what's your takeaway for today?
I knew you were going to pick me. I was, that you cannot ask somebody to give something back to you that is already yours. So in this case, with Tia, you cannot ask somebody to give source back to you if it is yours. So that feels like a pearl for me. It's a very clear pearl.
Thank you so much.
I thought Wolfgang was going to say that he really would enjoy being surrounded by power hungry bitches, actually.
Oh, that too.
Okay, everybody, unmute yourselves. We do our little goodbye ritual for today. So, and then find somebody in the tile next to you. Connect some hands, since we're always so alone in these tiles, and just imagine you can reach across oceans with your hands. Take care and have a wonderful evening, day, wherever you are. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good evening.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye bye.